What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to the 6th episode of Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elaina. This one's titled The Land of Truth Tellers. Okay, I'm going to guess that's going to be a fairly literal title. I'm going to guess it's going to be a land where people can't lie? Maybe? Like, probably through magical means they're forced into doing it, unless they're going a darker route, because here's the thing. First 2 episodes, lighthearted, fun, getting to know people, enjoyable. 3rd and 4th episodes, darker, more serious, thinking about consequences to actions and things like that. Last episode was happy again, so I'm going to assume they're doing too happy, too dramatic, too happy, too dramatic, because I don't want to say sad, because I don't think that's their express purpose, is to make you feel sad. I think their express purpose is to draw light to certain situations and how people go around them, and how life isn't just always endless happiness, because, let's be real, it ain't. So, seeing different walks of life that are less fortunate, maybe, could be something that they want to explore. So, judging by the 2-on, 2-off sort of pattern that we've been going, I'm going to assume this is a happier one, and therefore I'm going to assume it's magically influenced rather than a dictatorship, for example, where you're being watched at every single waking moment. If you lie, you'll be taken to a prison camp or something along those lines. Like, I assume it's not like SS... USSR type situations that we're going to be exploring here, but more just a magical means of probably well-intentioned, but maybe not everyone's happy with it. Although if people aren't happy with the situation, they have to voice that unhappiness. They can't lie and say, oh no, I love it here, when they actually don't. Interesting. I can see exactly why they want to go with this subject, because I can already see where this might go interesting ways. But anyway, last time, we had a lighthearted episode. We met up with Fran again, which was just, brilliant. I love those two together so much. I think we kind of hinted as well that the Adventures of Nike, was it, I believe? A book that Elaina found when she was young and what inspired her to become a witch and to travel and all these things. I think we implied that that was her mother, and it's a book about her mother. And then, what was the name of... what was the name of Freya? Not Freya, Fran in the books. There was a name for her. Froyu or something like that, but I think it's implied that the final story was Nike meeting Fran, and that's why Fran and the mother, that's probably why the mother approached Fran to teach Elaina a bit of a lesson when she was training. Maybe that explains why that happened as well. But I think 99% certain that is the case anyway. But yeah, we get surrounded by students and are told, after she tried to break into the school, which was just like, okay, you should have thought that one through. The students come and are told to capture her, or yeah, they have to catch her without, was there any limits imposed on that? I don't think there was. To which they all completely failed until the evening in which Fran revealed herself, and it was a great thing. And then Elaina was basically the substitute teacher, or the assistant teacher for the class there for the day, which was just brilliant. Guest lecturer is another term. And they just have a nice moment. Fran has the parting gift with Elaina. There's a little bit of a weird dynamic between the two at times, but it's well-intentioned, and yeah. They also mention how Fran had written a book that got lost eventually. So I'm thinking that the place where Elaina was in present day actually reminisced back on this one. It seemed like she was... they might have found her book and published it and made a big deal out of her because of it. So that's going to be a fun story to tell Fran eventually as well. But now we're moving on to Land of Truth Tellers. And whatever that would imply. I don't think this is going to be a dark episode. I don't think. If I watch the preview, because the previews for this come out on what, Mondays? Is it Mondays that these previews come out? I don't know. I know that most anime do have these little 30-second or minute preview things before each episode that week. I don't watch any of them because I like to go in completely blind to each episode. But I think for this show, it could definitely help you assess the tone of the episode based on those little previews. So some of you might have a better idea than me. And I'm watching this one a day late. Apologies. Life is hectic. But we got around to it in the end. So, as per usual, these are time-based format reactions. Bottom left of the screen, you're going to see the time for the episode. I count you down, 3, 2, 1, play. Now on play, you start the episode, I start the episode, and we'll be in sync. Watching as well on Funimation as per usual, since that's who's licensed it here in the UK and US. We have Kadokawa logo to start, and then the Funimation logo afterwards, because, yeah, that's how it works. About 10 seconds, 11 seconds of logos to start with. I'll call them out as I go past, and you can use screen flash on my face or on the mic to tell when scenes are transitioning as well. So, with all that said, let's get into this week's episode in 3, 2, 1, play. Kadokawa and Funimation. Cheers to that. Here we go. We're on the coast. And we're now hearing of it. Okay. A country with no liars. Well, that's intriguing. Interesting. Yes. Power of the sword, okay. God, he looks... yeah. Interesting. That is very shady. Maybe they are going the dictator. Yeah. Maybe they are going the dictatorship route with this. They're openly hostile about it, okay. So yeah, like I said, if you have a displeasure for this place, you express it. Because you can't lie that... well, you don't have to express it because you're not compelled to speak. You're compelled to tell the truth when you speak. I suppose the only way to really lie is to not say anything. You can also speak around the truth. Because people are good at that. Like, you can say something completely true, but completely against the intentions of what was expected. I would think of a good example, but my brain is mush right now, so I probably can't think of a good anecdote that will go along with it. But, you know, it's like if I asked you to... let's think. Let's put a second of effort into this since we're waiting for the OP. Okay, really basic example. Do you have 5 apples? If you didn't have the 5 apples, you'd have to say how many apples you have, but you could talk around and say, I have some apples. I might have 1, I might have 2, I might have 3, I might have 5. I haven't lied to you. But I've spoken around what you were truly asking for. Very basic example. I'm sure the writers of this show will be much more clever at building their narrative, but whatever. No, truth tellers, here we go. And we've entered. Do we feel... yes. Tuh. Can't say it. Oh. Ooh, that's a bit different, though. From not being able to tell a lie to being forced to tell the truth is a bit different. That's a little different. People don't want to speak. Yeah, you keep quiet. Are they freshly baked? But she didn't say anything. No, people will try and work around it. What sounds like a good idea in theory doesn't necessarily make it so in practice. Oh. She has a badge. Ooh, writing like that. That's clever. Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Again, no one talks in this place. That's a good question. Can you lie through written message? Hmm. Looks like maybe not. Well, I think the comments of this series might disagree with you on that. People will definitely contest that, but here we go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. That makes sense. Yeah. Who the hell's this? Oh, wow, it's her. What was her name? Saya or something? Okay. Whoa. Yep. That look of just dissatisfaction. Uh, wow. All the emotions. She just doesn't know who it is. That was actually really nice. Oh, god damn it. That was a nice little exchange. No. She's genuinely glad that she's saved them. Wow. Oh, what is her title? The Charcoal Witch, okay. It is. Where do you think the inspiration came from? Yeah. Hmm. Ah, so that's who the beggar girl was looking for? I assume she's a beggar? Yes. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah. uh. Hmm. Uh, probably won't at this point. Oh, okay. 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 Quicksand witch, alright. Oh, really? Did she refuse the request? Then put some effort into picking the people that are near you. That's the normal human response, I think. Oh? Do you have a crush on the king? Oh, and she's the reason this happened. Hmm. Okay. Did she give up her voice to do it? Oh, shit. No, had lasting impacts on her. Oh, shit. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh, shit. There it goes. Very specifically. Wow. Wow. Already in effect. Not even he's immune to it. And that's why he looks kind of miffed to be holding the sword, okay. Oh. Wow. Mm-hmm. So if we destroy the artifact, would that happen? That makes sense. He never cared for you. Possibly. Very openly frank about it, but she's compelled to. Oh. Yeah. We just gonna go straight along with it? This is just high treason. Wow. Jesus Christ. Okay. Right. Basically impossible. There is a way, obviously, but... Hmm. Okay. No, this will be good. Huh? Huh? did they get away with that? How did they actually write that? Is it specifically the language that it was written in? Oh. And that's what... Okay. Okay. That's pretty clever. Okay. I love how she's got arrows. Oh, there he is. It's a very informal attitude to take with him. We're just doing it. You just... Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Yep. She thirsty. Oh boy. We're really doing this? I'm a non-combatant. Yep. It's not helped the country, to be fair. You say that, but... Oh, shit. Wow. Okay. Okay. Why were we so gung-ho with this, though? Anyway. We'll discuss that later. Oh, shit. By what standard did it? Hmm. That is true. Mm-hmm. That is true. Flying in the background. Boy. That's not a bad analogy. Yeah. Hmm. She's not been doing anything. Oh, wow. Nice. Oh, shit. Holy crap. Is her magic restored now and she can talk? Yes, you were wrong. And there she's speaking. It's not wrong to want it, you just... Yeah. Well, let it slip. Now the atmosphere's back, now people are talking. Jesus Christ, these guys. Mm-hmm. And they changed it. Is that really the rules? I don't think that is. That's true. Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet you did. Look. So unimpressed. Yeah, I'm sure you would. Wow. Oh boy. Yeah, of course they have a matching set. Of course. Mm-hmm. As expected. Pinky promise, okay. Mm-hmm. That would be nice. That would be a nice thing, actually. Alright, is that it? That's it, okay. It doesn't look like we're getting anything afterwards either. Okay. I have mixed thoughts about this episode. I have mixed thoughts about this entire show, to be honest. Like, it keeps happening. But I'll save it for the after discussion. But I do have doubts, questions. It's nice to see Sayara again, I suppose. I mean, she thirsty as hell for Elaina. But I don't know what's been the most Yuri. Like, that's contender for the most Yuri moment of the season. And that's in a show where we have a Yuri romance. In the form of Adachi Shimamura. We have a Salty Bouquet, which is very Yuri. There's another one. There's another one that skipped my mind completely. What is the other Yuri thing this season? Aside from Bouquet and Adachi. What is it? I've forgotten. I guess you could say Sigadrifa, but that's not really the point. Kuma Bear, I guess. And then... yeah, okay. Oh, and Dropout Idol. Dropout Idol was the other Yuri thing I was thinking about. I just couldn't remember the name of it. Alright, and then that's it, yes? Anything more? No. Okay, so, mixed feelings here. Very mixed feelings, because... okay, I guess this determines, like, the hierarchy system of the world, as it were, because Elaina was very gung-ho to join in and support a straight-up attack on the king of a nation. Like, holy shit, that's a big deal. Or at least, in my mind, that should be a big deal. You're attacking a king, of all things. However, this was a request from a witch to the association, or whatever the hell it was called, that Saya is now a part of. Let me see if I can find... let me see if I can find the thing here. United Magic Association. Mysterious organization that meddles in everything that deals with magic. So where does that put them? Does that give them the right to... Like, where does this request fall into it? Like, if it requires destroying... Okay, destroying a powerful magical artifact that could be believed to be dangerous, I guess that would come under their purview and be something that they would be willing to take responsibility for, right? That makes sense. Who makes the call, though? Because I assume this request would have been forwarded to the association, and they would have had to have approved it in order to send someone to deal with it. Or do they send someone just to hear the request, and it's up to the witch on the scene to make the decision whether that is beneficial or not? Because at that point, it would be Sire's decision as to whether she believes this story. Or would it be on Elaina? Was that her name? Would it be on her at that point? Ihemia, okay. That's just what I'm questioning, because some people will question why Elaina acts here as opposed to acting in, like, episode 3, because everyone's still hung up on episode 3, let's be honest. And the fact that she did nothing in both of those scenarios. But in both of those scenarios, she would have been acting out of her own personal sense of justice, which I don't think she, at that point in time, I don't think she really had her own personal sense of justice. In this case, it was a request to the association that was going to be fulfilled whether she was there or not, and because it was Sire, she tagged along and helped out. More or less, right? That's the reason why she did it this time. So, just to get those comments out of the way immediately, because I know some people will be like that, and like, why does she help here instead of in episode 3? And it's like, well, this time she actually there was actual contractual obligations for this to be fulfilled. But my question lies in that contract. Does this organization have enough power to supersede kings and such? Like, are they an international organization that... Is it a self-proclaimed thing where they're like, oh yeah, we have the right over anything that deals with magic, we are the law on that? Like, or is there something above them that governs that? Like, I'm just more curious as to how the world political and law structure looks in that case. Because I think that determines whether these events were meant to happen or not. But because it's an anime format, it feels more condensed just to make the story work. But I can understand why the events happened. I just question what led to those events in the first place more. My god, though, Sire is... It's gone beyond just wanting a friend. She wants Elaina so hard. Like, so much. Jesus Christ. Yeah. She thirsty. She real thirsty. Overall, a decent episode. I guess you could say this was a light-hearted episode. It definitely wasn't like last episode, which was very light-hearted. This was kind of a mix of the two. And I'm surprised I was right with the kind of like dictatorship-esque way. He wasn't really trying to run a dictatorship. He just wanted not to be lied to. Thought what he was doing was for the good of the country, but really it just wasn't. Because it just made everyone cagey and made everyone... Yeah, just abolishing lies in of itself does not solve all the world's issues. Like, if you tried that in the real world, I bet something similar might happen with the attitude of people. Thankfully, you can't physically do that. Because no one would ever accept it and would probably overthrow anyone that tried to do it. I mean, look at the 20th century for an example of that. And their attempts towards it. Because at that point it does become like compelled speech, right? And we all know how much freedom of speech is argued for and how those debates always end up. So this sort of situation of being compelled to tell the truth through someone else's decision, you have no means of saying it yourself. I'm surprised the book flip tactic worked, though. Like, the magic cannot detect your intent with those being separate sentences. That's fairly clever. Shows the limit of the magic as well. Didn't think that would work though, but that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this one as well, because this show in general, I think, is a really good one for hearing all your guys' thoughts, because I'm always of two minds when I watch these episodes. I'm like, okay, I understand why they did it for story and narrative reasons and visual reasons they made these choices, blah, blah, blah. And on the other hand, I'm like, well, but really, if we're going to start digging super deep into this, why is there some inconsistencies that you, like, want to loop back to? And it's like, I'm always of two minds, and I feel like I always argue both sides of the arguments in my head every episode. Especially episode 3. Ever since episode 3, I've been doing it. Because that's when the show decided to make a change for the better? I don't know. Do you think this show, like, because right now, this show's still 74% mean score on AniList. It's still doing pretty well for itself. But do you think that score would be higher if they stuck more to lighthearted? Or do you think the change to darker stories and the willingness to explore those stories is elevating this beyond just a simple cute girl goes traveling around the world type vibe? Do you think that extra intent behind it has elevated it beyond that? That's an interesting question that I'd like to see, because we're now halfway through this show. We've hit the halfway point. And yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how you feel like this show would have done otherwise. But yeah, apparently that brings us to... Apparently we're now into the second volume of the light novel, from what I've seen on comments here. And apparently the second novel is meant to be more dark stories, apparently. So I guess it makes sense, right? We've had 2 good, 2 bad. Now we've had 2 goods, ambiguous with this one. But now I guess we're going to go back into a darker story. Now the question I have is now that we've had a lot more experience of traveling and dealing with people and dealing with different walks of life, is Elena's attitude towards these darker events going to change as time goes on? Like, is that part of the journey of Elaina? Rather than Elaina going on a journey to tour the place, is it her personal journey that she manifests her own sense of personal justice that she will then act upon, even if there is no other support to that cause? She will enact things because she wants to, and she believes in her sense of justice. Like, is that where we're going with this? Because right now we don't have a main tied story narrative across this. We have set episodes, self-contained. You don't need to watch other episodes to know these episodes. Except for Fran and Saya being recurring characters that have come back, you would need them to understand their characters a little more and as to why Elaina is the way she is with them. Those are the 2 exceptions, but otherwise, they are relatively self-contained stories. I don't know. I guess we'll see next week how this goes, but I'm still enjoying it, very much so. I still look forward to it. Not as much as maybe when I first started, potentially, because I went in with a different vision of what the show might be, but that's more on me than the show. I would have to say that's more my responsibility for expecting something out of a show when it wanted to do something different, so I'm not going to hold the show accountable for that. That's my perception of it that's led me astray in that regard. And I think that's a lot of shows that I end up dropping might be because of that reason. I expect something from it, and then it turns out not to be that, and I feel disheartened to continue. I feel like that happens a lot with shows I drop. But anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one anyway. Leave a like if you did, and leave your comments down below on what you thought of the episode. This show is consistently being one of those shows that I always look for comments on, because I just want to see how everyone else perceives this, because not everyone's going to agree with how I see the episode, and honestly, I'd rather you didn't all agree with me. Like, that's the point. I want to hear all different viewpoints on these types of episodes, and how people react to certain things. Like, I know people bash Elaina and saying, like, she acts on certain things, and it's, like, inconsistent character writing, but I see where you could potentially argue against that. So, you know, it's an interesting discussion that, honestly, props to the show for making it an interesting discussion in the first place. But don't forget to hit subscribe as well to see next week's episode, as well as the rest of the full 2020 lineup you can find on my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you guys later.